According to you, what is this sound? Okay, we'll come back to this later. Ranking of Kings is a particular anime. The art style is very pretty, but it looks like a children's series, right? Well, you couldn't be more wrong. It was created by Wiz Studio, the guys who animated the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga, a studio that isn't really focused on children's stories. And Ranking of Kings is not the exception. Without even watching the anime, you can already tell that it has a little extra something. So yes, you should absolutely watch it. Pause the video and binge the series now. But if you don't care about spoilers, let me tell you how this series is better than 99.9% of anime. Your first time watching Ranking of Kings might look like mine. I was skeptic about the art style and didn't expect much from the anime. The only thing I knew about it was the second opening and the ranking thing. But what even is Ranking of Kings? In this world, a committee ranks each king according to 3 criteria. Does he have a huge army of Valorous knights? Does he have many subjects and prosperous towns? And most importantly, is he a powerful hero? All of these determine the ranking of a nation's king. And the very existence of this ranking, combined with the strong ambitions of those who want to become number 1, is the foundation of this anime. And there are many who desire to become the greatest king, especially since a divine treasure capable to fulfill your desires is accorded to the most powerful one. Okay, so this is the goal of the anime. The main character just has to become powerful and rank at the first place. It's a classic. It can't be much more complicated than that. Well, we'll come back to this. The story starts with the introduction of the main character, Prince Bojji. But before that, I really need to talk about his father. Bojji is the first child of Boss, a giant warrior who became a wise king. One day, when a kingdom was being attacked by monsters, he managed to defeat every one of them and save the people. To thank him, the villagers asked Boss to become their king. Even though he's ranked at the 7th place, he's actually the world's strongest man. And now I think you can start to realize that something is off about Bojji. Generally, the main character is often a teenager with barely any weaknesses, but Ranking of Kings is different. Bojji is not a giant but a small child, barely able to lift a training sword and, most importantly, he's deaf and mute. When I first learned that the protagonist was this disabled, I was flabbergasted. It is so rare to see something like this, and now I bet you want to know how the hell he will be able to become the number 1 king. Well, he can't. That's what everyone thinks, and to be honest, I can't imagine how he could. People laugh at him for walking naked in the street. Gods think he's pathetic, and his stepmother, the queen, scolds him. Even his father is deeply concerned about the fate of the kingdom once he dies from illness. Bojji is truly alone. Even his name is a play on words, meaning the Lonely Prince. And this is when he will meet Kage, an assassin from the Shadow clan. At first, he got mugged and left his clothes behind. Yep, that's a horrible start. But then, the Shadow asked Bojji to come back every day. Of course, if you got mugged, you wouldn't come back. Or at least, you'll have soldiers with you. Or a gun. But Bojji will return to that place every day with new outfits to meet Kage. Why? Is he stupid or very gullible? It's actually because they can understand each other. Kage can somehow get what he says, and even though Bojji is deaf and mute, he's able to read on the lips of the Shadow. And this changes quite a lot of things. If you remember that he's constantly being ridiculed, insulted, and scolded, he actually understands everything, and yet he holds himself back and acts like he's fine. Kage is the only one able to understand him, and Bojji is trying his hardest to become friends with him. That's why he's walking naked in the street, gladly exchanging his clothes to spend time with Kage. Okay, now let's go back to the story. Bojji is trained by Domas, the best swordsman of the kingdom, but he doesn't make any progress. His lack of strength is frustrating his teacher, who thinks Daida, Bojji's younger brother, is a much better student. Bojji asks for a fight between him and Daida. At this moment, I didn't think he could do anything against him, because the younger prince just showed an impressive fight versus Domas. And then, the impossible happened. Bojji dodges Daida's strike. And again, and again, and again. He's not only very fast, but he's also agile. I was wondering how he could go down the fortress like that without breaking a sweat. He's even able to dodge many snakes attacking from all sides at once. Bojji is the anime version of a Dark Souls dexterity build. He focuses on speed, agility and precision for quick attacks, excellent dodging and critical hits. And this made me reconsider the fact that Bojji can't become king. He doesn't have to follow his father's way, but his own. And with this, Bojji completely wins his fight against Daida. Or he should have, because next is something that pissed off a lot of people, myself included. Domas asks Bojji to stop dodging his brother's attacks and to parry them instead. The reason? That's supposedly not how a king should fight. Of course, if you remove the only thing he has for him, he'd lose. What you feel when watching this scene is a great example of what you'll feel during the entire series. Not that you'll feel frustrated and angry in every episode, but you will have strong emotions. Prepare to receive emotional damage right from now on. You'll even feel bad for Dark Blob. Kage's origins are very sad, and you can almost feel what he feels in every scene. He was also very lonely, and meeting Bojji will be the greatest thing to happen in his life. After watching the prince's fighting skills, he realizes that he cares about him, and declares to Bojji that he will follow him everywhere. This is my second favorite moment of this anime, and it's just the second episode. Ranking of Kings can really make you root for a character or hate them, feeling sad or amused after just so few episodes. So far, the anime seems wholesome and promises epic fights, but what if I told you that behind the art style lies a much darker story? Let's start with Bojji getting constantly humiliated by people. Everyone is openly mocking him in the street. Gods belittle him in the palace. The queen severely scolds him. His father tells him to man up. His teacher has no motivation to train Bojji and let his brother beat him up. Combined with Bojji's weaknesses, this already seems pretty difficult to deal with. But that's actually the tamest shit in this anime. After the death of King Boss, a red demon comes out of his corpse and points to Bojji before vanishing. This strange scene immediately changes the mood of the anime by adding dark magic and demons to the story. Was the king cursed? Is Bojji his new target? We'll come back to this later. In Boss' testament, Bojji will be the one to become king. But this anime has many conspiracies going on, and he will be betrayed by the queen and his ministers. Claiming he's not suited for the job, they modify the late king's testament, and Daida is crowned as a new one. And talking about his brother Daida, he's also plotting against Bojji. He has a lot of ambitions, and he wanted to rule out his brother to become king. The dark entity in his magical mirror encourages his behaviors and even helps Daida in his plots. His influence got so strong that it commands the assassination of 2 of his ministers and Bojji. The perfect opportunity to kill the prince arises when he travels with only 2 guards. He ordered Domas to murder Bojji and make it seem like an accident. Child murder right at the 4th episode wasn't on my list when I first started this anime. And I guess it wasn't on anyone's list, but what follows next is going to be a hell of a ride, because that's nothing in comparison to child torture. Much later in the story, it is revealed that the entity inside the mirror is what remains of Minanjo, a powerful sorceress with the darkest past of the entire anime. When she was just a child, there was a huge war between men and gods. The kingdom of Homa discovered that the gods enslaved countries and decided to fight back. They had many magicians and helped other nations to develop. That's why Minanjo and her mother went to help the Yakuza kingdom and offered them prosperity and knowledge. But after many years of surviving in a desperate place, the people became extremely selfish and viewed kindness as a weakness. They never helped the Homa kingdom in the war, and even worse, they betrayed them. One night, they stormed into Minanjo's house, killed her mother and tortured the girl. They beat her, cut off her hands and disfigured her face. Upon seeing the horrible damage the girl suffered, Boss, who swore to protect her, became enraged and slaughtered every people of the Yakuza kingdom. I haven't mentioned it before, but the anime actually shows a lot of blood. Boss killing an entire kingdom is pretty graphic. And you know what's worse than a jin? Well, 2 jin. This is actually the second time the anime shows this kind of violence. In the first episodes, Kage's Shadow Clan was completely wiped out, with the bodies spiked on the spears of the soldiers. Ranking of Kings is definitely not an anime for children, and it kinda feels like Made in Abyss. The art style seems wholesome and even goofy, but then reality sounds real hard. This tragic event has deeply affected Miranjo, impacting her motivations and her actions throughout the series. She's going to do everything in her power to help Boss become the strongest man in the world. For that, Miranjo broke her promise with a red demon, to never wish for anything a second time. The demon grants her wish, and will transfer the power of Boss's first son to him. And yes, this is exactly what you think. Boss stole the strength of Bojji before he was even born. His desire to become the strongest was so great, he sacrificed his own son. That's why Bojji has so many weaknesses. He was cursed from the beginning. Milanjo will always try to help Boss, even if it implies to kill Bojji's mom, resurrect him into Daida's body, and almost bringing the kingdom to ruins. I was talking about Bojji's curse, but he's not the only one. The scariest enemy he will have to face is that thing. And if you remember the sound I made you listen to at the beginning of the video, you understand that it was his loaf. And this loaf really weirded the heck out of me the first time I heard it. This is Oken, one of the 3 brothers ruling the Oni clan. He was blessed with the gift of immortality, but he slowly realized that he can die and will never die. Oken turned insane and became a monster, killing and torturing anyone in his path if they were not subbed to my channel. As you can see, this anime is the quintessence of don't judge a book by its cover. And that also stands for the characters. Something that I really like about this anime is how unpredictable they can be. At first, Queen Hiling is depicted as a stereotype of the cold and strict stepmom. She evicted Bojji from the throne because she doesn't believe he's gonna be a good ruler. But she actually cares a lot about him. And that's the reason why she didn't want him to be the king. The burden would be far too heavy for a weak, deaf and mute little boy. His brother Daida is naturally the only sane choice, and that's what a lot of the ministers also think. All her actions are always in order to protect Bojji, and she spends a lot of energy healing his injuries. This is a great character that many people ended up loving. Thomas isn't just a master swordsman, but someone who faces moral dilemmas. Should he obey his new king, or should he protect the prince? He felt extremely conflicted by the order to assassinate Bojji, and was devastated by guilt after pushing him into the bottomless pit. Then, he cuts his right hand, and chooses to follow the path of redemption. Apis is shown as one of the strongest and most loyal members of the Big Four, but he will be the one to struggle with loyalty the most. His sense of duty will be tested many times, between King Boss, to Daida, to Milanjo, and to the kingdom. Ultimately, he finds that he wants to protect the kingdom, and that his loyalty mustn't be blind but guided by his sense of justice. Daida is a little brat you want to beat up. His ambitions and his sense of superiority was really irritating. But when Milanjo asked him to drink a very suspicious Boss smoothie in order to become more powerful than ever, Daida surprised me. He straight up refused it. Of course, you wouldn't have drunk it either, but he really seemed to be the character that could because of his lust for power. The anime managed to do a complete 180 with his character by having him growing up and becoming kinder. Boss was shown as a honorable and powerful king, but after discovering he stole Bojji's strength, the anime completely changed for me. That is my favorite moment of Ranking of Kings. The moment where characters realize how unfair Bojji's life was. The moment you realize that the main character was playing on nightmare difficulty and is still able to be the #1 king. The moment you realize that all characters aren't black or white. They all have motivations and aren't evil for the sake of being evil. Well, except the gods, these are real bastards. Another thing that I liked about this anime is how they nerfed the main character for the climax of the season. Bojji managed to find his fighting style thanks to his teacher, Despa. He quickly realized that he had a dexterity build and trained him to land a crit at every attack. Using a rapier and his speed, Bojji became extremely powerful, capable of one-shotting almost anyone. And a main character being this strong is quite difficult to balance, but this anime did it perfectly. Bojji will face Oken in an epic fight in which he can't win since his opponent is immortal. Even destroying his weapon or inflicting many crits in a row can't stop him. Bojji is beaten and severely wounded. And this is when Boss enters the fight in the body of Daida. Being the strongest man in the world, he has no problem to smash Oken. He finds a solution to beat his immortality by crushing and trapping him into a rock. The final fight is now between Bojji and Boss, the fastest versus the strongest. Every character thinks the battle is impossible to win for Bojji, as he lost to Oken and Boss was far stronger than him. But Bojji is able to evade Boss's attacks and manages to beat him. This is possible because the characters have a rock, paper, scissors dynamic, or in this case, an invincibility, immortality, dexterity dynamic. I told you at the beginning of the video that the Ranking of Kings is ruled by a committee. All kingdoms are ranked between 3 criteria, and the #1 king gets to choose a divine artifact. To get it, you'd have to go into the Divine Treasure Vault, a legendary place containing the richest and most powerful items in the world. But every king who went there chose the same treasure, a runic sword. Wielding one makes you able to hear the gods, and that plus the insatiable thirst for blood is probably why the kings fell into madness. I really love how these cursed swords are basically frostborn. During the war between men and gods, they realized that humans are much more powerful, and their era is now over. One god said that they need to find a new way to control people, and the ranking might be just it. But at the end of the season 2, a god came to the Divine Treasure Vault to kill the mysterious people inside. There are still many secrets about it, and I really want to know more. You get the idea, Ranking of Kings is an excellent anime. The story has a huge potential, and the animation is amazing. All the characters are masterfully written, and the emotions you'll feel are overwhelming. This anime manages to mix a cute art style with a tragic story, and feels completely different from other series. Ranking of Kings is one of the best animes in many ways, and that is a masterpiece better than 99.9% of anime.